When I grew up in the 60s, it was practically a secret how you made a record. Very few bands in the 60s got signed up, and yet there were some fantastic bands. Bands used to go out on a Friday and Saturday night and play 3 gigs in 3 different venues. But now it's all more fragmented, because you have got your dance scene, you've got your indie scene, you've got just a whole lot of different things.
It's harder for bands now in the local music scene compared to what it was in the likes of the 70s with, say, Terri Hooley, for instance, what he was doing in the likes of the Ulster Hall.
The large promoters aren't really interested in the local bands, so they're not going to give them, even if the band are top class, even if they're exactly in the same field as the headlining band, generally they won't get a support.
It's difficult for venues to look at putting on young bands because they are commercial venues. They're looking to make money at the end of the day. It's not their role to subsidise new talent and promote bands and give them a cheap and easy opportunity to promote themselves.
Venues such as ourselves and Auntie Annie's, we do give time to bands that approach us. We concentrate on local live music, do as much as we can for them. And as I say, it is something that we feel very important in the day-to-day run of both our venues.
The venues don't want to put on a band which is going to deter punters away from their pub and eventually lose them business. They only want a big band which are going to bring in a big crowd, but then you've got to pay in order to get there. In order to become more established in the first place, you've got to actually get the gigs, and it's a bit of a catch-22 situation, really.
There's a lot of opportunities, there's a lot of venues there that are offering opportunities to local musicians, but it's unfortunate that some of these venues are charging performers to play, and obviously it can be hard enough getting crowds to the main commercial venues.
We used to have bands played in the venue, and we paid for the sound man, posters, you name it. More times than enough, bands came in, treated the place like it was their own. And there's nights that didn't even turn in, so we end up spending a lot of money for bands not to make an effort. The way we have it now is the bands pay the sound man. We still do posters for them and press for them if they supply us with information. But I would say there's a good 70–80% of the bands out there that just aren't organised.
The commercial sector loved the which we're maybe seeing the sort of decline of now. Because in that way they only had to pay one person, a DJ, to come and play, and they could have the place full and be, not have the expenditure of having to play a full band.
Things have changed now where different promoters will give bands major support slots in venues like the Mandela Hall and the Empire and places like that. Other promoters now are starting to come through who will bring over more international and bigger name bands and will then take a local band and put them on at the same time. If you put on a local band along with this big name band, 2,000 people come along to see the big name band, 2,000 people see this local band, and then they realise that, hey, this local band is actually that good as well and can hold their own against the big boys.
There's a lot of up-and-coming talent in the local music scene at the moment in the north of Ireland, and has been around for a lot of years. But it's not very strengthened. There's not as many sort of opportunities available for local musicians throughout the north of Ireland compared to, say, the likes of Dublin or London or other sort of capital cities.
The industry here and the revenue generated by the industry here is very small compared to them. So it is necessary to give a boost to the industry here to allow it to reach those levels.
They have been very critical of the City Council for doing almost nothing for the local music scene. We give out about £1 million a year to arts organisations in the city, primarily to the likes of theatres, to art galleries and other good organisations. And I think certainly in the last 2 or 3 years we've given out almost no money to the local music industry.
I'm reluctant to say to bands quite often, yes, someone else will help you here. These people will supply the equipment. These people will promote your gigs. At the end of the day, you should be in any career path dedicated enough to be working on this yourself. yet again, as I say, any support you get, it's got to be worthwhile. So I do tend to feel that it's good to see that the public bodies are now recognising popular music as an area that they must support.
When Alternative Ulster, the radio station, was set up, in the first year they got something like 150 demo tapes, which shows you there's a huge number of bands out there. Now, in addition to the bands and the music and the crack and the fun, that's a huge number of jobs that could be created. People, acting as roadies for the bands, people doing sound engineering, people doing lighting, people doing design for the posters. It could have huge economic benefits for the city. So it's not just about a few people playing a bit of music. It could have a really positive effect for the city.
I'm Chris Hawthorne, I live in Lisburn. I'm 21 years old. I came down here to the Arts Centre to do make your own techno course. Most of the people on the course will be making techno the way we are at the minute in the workshop from their bedroom. It's a mixture of people making their own music in their bedroom and then DJs as well. Workshop has been running over 2 days. Basically it's been from start to finish how to put your ideas down onto the computer and get everything in time and perfect. It's been really good, so it has. The guys who have been taking it been easy to relate to, have understood everything they've said. They've been very straight with us as well.
I think Belfast needs a kind of a hub or a cluster of places and spaces for the music industry. I think we need a music centre, which would be a place where the businesses would run from.
A subsidised venue for bands within the creative sector, I think, is an excellent idea, and there has been a lot of movement in that direction. We ourselves were involved in a consortium which approached Laganside to do with trying to find a good quality space to put a medium-sized venue, plus small recording studio, plus exhibition space, etc., to build something which most major cities in Europe have, which is let's say a music centre along the lines of, for example, Temple Bar in Dublin, or even the Nerve Centre in Derry, which is a fantastic example of this. That Belfast doesn't have that is quite surprising.
It would need to be developed in the right way. It would need to be developed in consultation with the organisations and the individuals in the bands. But I think that's the kind of thing Belfast needs to start thinking about and talking about, because a lot of good stuff happening here, it just doesn't get enough support.